Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
We are the weirdos, mister.
Black as night, erase death from our sight. White as light, mighty hectate make it right. I myself am strange and unusual. Cast a circle, spark some incense, and grab a cup of tea, because it's time for the Cousins Coven podcast. I'm Sharon.
And this is Wendy. Welcome to the Coven, you guys. So today we're joined by a fellow witch and Sharon's good friend, Vinne. Hi, Vinne. Welcome to the Coven.
Hello. I'm excited to be here.
Yay, we're excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yes, of course.
We're really excited. Did you guys want to talk about how you met? Just to kind of give our listeners some background.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was through a mutual friend, Maria. She's been on this podcast before. I've worked with her at the Alamo Draft House for about 7 years. And when she offered me to come and like start a circle or, just hang out and talk about witchcraft, do some magic, that's when I met Sharon at her place. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how often do you meet people in that kind of a circumstance and just like straight up a magic circle?
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like when I first saw it, like when we first hung out, I was like, yeah, I'm going to like her. And it's been like, what, almost 2 years?
Yeah, it's flown by.
In March, right? Because we started doing our full moon rituals. I'm going to say it was in a March, I think. And this March will be 2 years.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, our full moon rituals as friends and like our little coven, and we've just grown closer ever since. And Maria is definitely like that little glue that like keeps everyone together and keeps us motivated, and we just keep growing with our spirituality, and our witchcraft has grown, and it's been really great because they're like the first people I felt like I shared my magic with, especially outside of the family and things like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love how close we've gotten too.
Yeah, me too. I'm so lucky to have like little witch friends now.
I know, right?
I'm a little bit jealous.
Well, we need to fly you down here.
I know, you got to come to Texas.
Yeah, I'm like, we need to come down here then. Or maybe we can go up there. I'm down. I want to travel somewhere. We definitely should meet up. It'd be awesome.
Right? That would be so fun. We should all go to Oregon.
Yeah. We'll do some squatch hunting or just go to the coast and do like rituals on the beach. That's my favorite.
Oh, I would love to go. Yeah.
Yes. I'm always trying to do rituals on the beach.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I want to go to some other kind of beach, not the ones here.
Right?
Yeah. I always think of all the. I remember y'all were talking about that.
Yeah.
You always talking about that at your other podcast.
Throwing shade.
I mean, yeah. I was just because there's like all that fecal matter on the news, and I'm just
gross.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Corpus Christi beaches apparently. And I'm not going to lie, like you never know what's going to wash up on shore down at the beach.
Gross.
Like I've been there. It's like one day it's just this mound of like 5-inch crusty ass seaweed you'd have to crawl over just to get in the water.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I bet you the beaches in Oregon are a lot better then.
Yes, they're beautiful here, but it's really cold. That's the only
very
drawback.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Super freaking freezing.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of drives me. Like, I love it about the corpuses. I can go in and I feel like I'm in a bath.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's all warm and salty and poopy.
Yeah. But we're crazy. Poopy. We're crazy in Oregon because it doesn't matter if it's like 30 degrees outside. We're still going to jump in the ocean.
Oh my God,
yeah.
No. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so today, you guys, on the podcast, we're going to be talking about crystals and shadow people. But before we dive into the cauldron, we wanted to ask Vinny's opinions and beliefs on life's weird mysteries. So, Vinny, what are your thoughts on spirit animals and spirit guides? And do you have one?
Yeah. Okay. So, I definitely believe in spirit animal and spirit guides. They're there to basically, guide you along your path for sure. Mm-hmm. I recently found mine. I kind of knew it since I was younger because I've always been attached to dogs and I've always had one. They've always been my companion. I can basically read their energy, stuff like that. So when we had got together one time and we used the Ouija board to try to find our spirit animals, it kind of just gave me just told me basically it's a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, mine would be a wolf. And I just connect well with animals as far as dogs, especially dogs.
Yeah, whenever we hang out, we're usually around one of our dogs. We all have dogs in the group, and they tend to gravitate towards Vinny, and there's just this mutual love there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at my dogs right now, and they're literally on the couch just watching me. They always have an eye on me, so it's pretty cool. It's my dog and my roommate's dog, and I don't know if they think I have
Yeah.
food, but I'm like, I'm done with my food. Okay.
As
But
like
yeah.
far as spirit guide goes, like a dog is a good one to have. Everyone associates dogs with like loyalty and just companionship.
Yeah, it's like they're very
Mhm.
loyal for sure. And I mean, I'm going through a hard time right now, and I feel like both of the dogs have been there for me more than anybody. And I have a
Aw.
4-year-old. I have my son, and sometimes I just need a break, and I need to go to the bathroom, do a little cry or something, and they're always there, like playing fetch with him or keeping him occupied while I need to go to the bathroom or something. You know what I mean? So
That's
I
so
Right.
I love
sweet.
them. Yeah, they're like definitely my companions.
There's definitely something that can be said about the love of an animal, especially a dog. I don't know. I'm like you. I feel really connected to dogs, and
Hmm.
it's like another human. They just can't speak English.
Yeah,
You just have
they
to
don't
get on
speak,
their wavelength.
but you
Yeah.
can tell what they want or what they're. Well, at least I
Right.
can. I can tell what they want, what they're saying, and it's
Mhm.
funny.
Yeah. I have to say that a couple of times my dog Chloe, I've heard her voice in my mind. Like a
Yeah,
couple of times like, I'll ask her a question or something, and then she'll just look at me inquisitively, but I'll hear a response in my mind. So I'm
yeah,
just like, oh.
Wow, dog whisperer here.
yeah, for sure. I had that experience too with somebody else's dog, but
Nice.
I was under the influence, so.
Oh.
Like,
So
it
I
could have
don't
been
like.
just opening you up to maybe greater possibilities,
I know,
depending on what it was. Or you were just drunk. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes that happens when you're under the influence. You're just a little bit more relaxed and maybe more in
Mhm.
tune. You're not thinking
yeah,
about bills. You're not thinking about what you have to do tomorrow. So you're a little bit more, oh, I'm not thinking about the pain in my elbow or the millions of things that I
yeah.
have to.
Hmm. Get more focused on
Yeah.
spirituality.
Yeah. Well, what about angels and demons? Do you believe in those?
Yes, of course. I don't really study too much upon them, but
Mhm.
recently Sharon had given me, let me borrow a book of angels, and I'm attached to it right now. Like, so
Nice.
I'm definitely learning all the different angels and what they're here for. It's basically tells you that they're here to help you along your path. So if you ask them
Mhm.
questions, if you ask for help, they're gonna do it for you. It's just you have to put your effort into it too. And I've done a
Right.
couple of the rituals in that book. I'm gonna say a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago, and it's just crazy how it works. It works. It's just crazy. Like, yeah.
Awesome. You've been having success with it?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have. I want to do some more. I still like I don't want to give it back yet. I'm like I still have a lot I want to do it for that book. It's just I've been a little busy at the moment,
Yeah.
but I can't wait to dig back in there and
That's
um
so great. I'm so happy
mhm.
because, like I told you, I was like, I don't know why, but I was going over to your house and I was like, I need to bring this book to Vinny, and Vinny needs it. So, like, it's yours for as long as you need it.
Oh, you're so amazing. It's been
Yeah,
helping me so much. It's crazy.
That's so cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah, demons. They're definitely there. They're a little scary, but I haven't really gotten into that topic yet, or studied upon it. I still have a lot to learn as a witch. So,
Sure.
but definitely, yeah, I definitely believe in them.
It's a good thing to
You
not
know, when
have
we,
experiences with demons.
right?
Yeah, I try to stay
Exactly.
away from that topic. I try to like. I know they're there. I just try not to stay away from that topic at the moment. I
Mhm.
definitely want to get into it, but right now, my path right now is more in the lighter mode,
That's
if
great.
that makes sense.
That's great.
I think that's what you need anyway right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Keeps you strong.
It's crazy. Like in the beginning of the podcasting, I was like, I don't believe in angels or demons. But as we learn more and
Mhm.
more about just random things and occurrences, I don't think I can't deny that that is something that's those themes are like in everything that we look into. There's always some sort of lower vibrational being that is trying to fuck with you or mess with you. And we were talking about astral projection. Like, so I feel like demons and angels, they're probably real, and I need to start like believing in them and trusting in them, at least like for angels, at least, you know.
Yeah, well, my Momo, that's my grandmother, my dad's mom. She passed away when I was in high school. She named my dad Michael after, of course, Michael the Archangel. And I ended up naming my son Michael after my father. And just when I did have my son, I definitely looked into Michael, and it's basically the archangel that was sent down to fight the devil. So so I guess that's why people name their sons, or Michael is very like popular because it's just one of the most popular angels. And I guess that's kind of what got me into it, into researching angels, was just from that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's rooted in your family, and you guys have a strong connection with that angel, so why not like learn more about him and call upon him to help you out?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what about cryptid creatures like Bigfoot? Do you think he's out there hiding in our forests?
Yes, probably. I feel like, okay, this might be weird. This might sound weird, but like I'll get high or something and I'll just start thinking of shit. So like when y'all had that podcast on Bigfoot, I was cleaning the kitchen and of course I was stoned. And I was just like thinking like, what if Bigfoot has like, it's like a portal from another like realm, and just like Bigfoot just comes through there, and you know they're just studying on us or something, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Yes, it's really crazy to think about them having portals and stuff like that.
Right? Like, what if, because we look like there's plenty of people that look for it and everything, and they look everywhere, and it's probably because they're hiding, or they're like, you know,
interdimensional beings.
Yeah, for sure. A few years ago, they had spotted a Bigfoot here in San Antonio, and it was actually on this Highway 1604 right by my parents' house. And I was like totally like, oh my God, they did. I have to look. And I know exactly where they spotted them. And it was like multiple people calling 911 and stuff. So
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a few years ago.
Are you serious?
And then my mom was all, stay in the house and and I'm like, calm down, Mom.
Your mom is scared of Bigfoot. I love it. That's so cute.
I've been here.
So I like drove around. I kept driving past like where he was spotted. And I was all like, I didn't want to get out of the car, but I ended up parking and just trying to look. And then I was like, okay, I better go because I got scared.
That is so cool. You know, I've heard that there are a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Texas, and I need to start looking into it, and we need to go squatching in Texas.
That'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh. I would totally be down. I'd be a little nervous, but you know.
I'd fly down there for that.
Right. Yeah, Wendy's so ready.
If we ever see something and you see me running, just start laughing.
I'm so crazy that I wouldn't run away from it. I'd run towards it. I'd be like, "Come here, I need a hug. I need a hug."
I'd do the opposite.
Yeah, I don't know where I'd be. At somewhere in the middle, like Wendy, don't get close.
And you're like, where's Vinny?
Yeah, right. I'm like, we lost Vinny.
I've been hearing that there are people in Canada and California that are trying to get Sasquatch on the list of species, but it's really hard because they're not in like this database, this data bank of already found species, and so it's really hard for that to become a thing. So even though Bigfoot's out there, and a lot of people are starting, more and more people are starting to believe that they exist, there's still those people who just can't get on board with it. And so it's like mind-boggling to think, okay, you're okay if we find an odd different type of stingray, but you can't get on board with this Bigfoot.
Yeah, that suppression of like acceptance just is more fishy to me. Like the government does know, and they're trying to hide it from us. And like, speaking of our Bigfoot episode, which I think was like one of our first, maybe second episode, we talk about how there was an eruption of a volcano in like the 80s, Mount St. Helens, and how that the military actually was recovering Bigfoot who got stuck in the fire and stuff and who were hurt and injured, and they were like helicoptering them out. Well, one of my coworkers came to me and she was like, I found this video of this army guy talking about how he was
No
there.
way.
He saw them and how the government knows. And she's like, it's on YouTube. Go
Oh
look it
my
up. And that's on like my
gosh.
to-do list to go
Oh my
watch it. But
gosh.
apparently we could go find someone talking about that, and I need to do
That's
it.
awesome. I'm so excited to hear you say that.
Right. So we need to go. I need to remember to look that up. But he was basically saying, yeah, they know about them and they're trying to keep them a secret. And Bigfoot really don't want to be in contact with humankind.
I think that that's because they're watching us. And I really still think that they're interdimensional beings. I think that they're traveling through portals from here to wherever they're from.
Yeah, that is kind of a theory that I'm down with. And I want to know, can I go through those portals?
I bet you could. I bet you could.
I know.
Yeah.
Like that movie Little Monsters when they go through under the bed. Have y'all seen that movie? I want a portal under my bed.
Well, everything's made out of stardust. So if we're all made out of the same stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Pokemon.
Bigfoot's just a Pokemon.
Get in my bowl.
Right.
I've got raspberries for you.
Right. I got some candy.
Okay, guys. So let's move on to the witchy side of things for cauldron topics. Yay. How did you get into witchcraft in the first place?
It was basically through Maria. I had gotten the crystals first, and she noticed I was into crystals at work. I started working at Draft House, and we were working together for 7 years. So she saw that I started wearing crystals. I started holding them, talking about it. I was reading books, and she just invited me over. And that's when I met Sharon.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we started doing magic. And at first I was a little scared, not scared, but iffy because was starting to read on it, but I never practiced. So I was a little scared of the threefold rule and whatever I put out there. I was like, okay, whatever I'm putting out there is going to be good then. And I've stuck to that since. So
that's great.
Good.
It definitely can be scary breaking into it just because there's so much mystery about it, and there's a lot of like fear and
negative connotations. People think negatively about magic when it's really not negative.
Yeah, it's not, for sure.
Right. That's why it took me so long to open up about it.
Actually do.
Yeah.
So how do you use the moon in your magic?
Oh, well, we like to get together every full moon. And we will draw down the moon. Sharon got us these selenite wands, which help a lot. Yeah, it's really awesome. Those actually help a lot with drawing down the moon. The moon phases help in what kind of spells you want to do, wanting, waxing, things like that. So the new moon is basically for change, like starting new. So if you want to do a spell for like starting something new or anything like that, a new moon would be a really good time to do that. The full moon, I feel like, is the most powerful time to do a spell for sure, because you just have all that moon magic and that'll help you boost everything. So I feel like
it's in full view.
Yeah, I feel like the best time to do it. And then when we get together on full moons, it's just all three of us together. We're super powerful together.
Nice.
Yeah, we can always feel our energy, and like we did the supermoon last month. We've got a supermoon coming up this month, so these supermoons we're trying to take like full advantage of and just like charge our shit and get powerful and feel confident to manifest everything we need, you know?
Didn't we say there's one in March as well?
Yes. So the March will be the end of the trifecta.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so great. I love it.
Should be a good year.
Yes. Awesome. So you said a couple of years ago you started getting attracted to crystals. What actually drew you to them?
Okay. So it was with a few friends. We had gotten some shrooms and so basically that's what helped me pretty much. We did some shrooms and they were painting. I couldn't paint because I was tripping out. And that's when I thought I heard the dog, because it was my friend Brian's dog.
So it was a good night.
Yeah. So I was talking to the dog and I was talking to him and he was super sweet and I could just hear his voice in my head, like you said, Wendy. So that was the time and then I went back in the house and he put on this video on YouTube, Spirit Science, and it was the episode on crystals. And I was just totally drawn to that. Like, I was watching that crazy while they were painting, and I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. And my friend Brian, we're at his house. He showed me his crystal collection, and he had clear quartz formation, and he broke me off a piece, and I still have that today. That was my first crystal that was given to me.
That's awesome.
And after that, I just studied. He showed me different places I can go buy crystals. He was totally supportive. Then Maria came into the mix after that. But yeah, after that shroom trip, that's pretty much basically got me into crystals, and it just opened up a whole new world for me.
Nice.
To be honest.
Interesting. So, okay, you're an earth element, you're drawn to stones and crystals. Do you consider yourself a crystal witch?
Yeah, for sure. Just because that's one of the main topics I'm really familiar with, because I studied so much on it. I use crystals in every spell. I use crystals for everything. If I'm feeling bad, just grab them. I wear them. I've been keeping rose quartz in my back pocket for about a month. My dad has it right now because he was having a hard time,
sweet.
And I just told him to carry it. Like I lend them out, or I give them out, because like crystals they're there to help you, but there's a time when it needs to move on. So I could always feel when it's like, okay, I need to give this away. Like I had a clear quartz when my grandma was in the hospital last week. She was in ICU, and they didn't think she didn't make the night basically. But when I was there, I just held her hand with the clear quartz, and it was so crazy. Like, I could feel her energy. Like she wasn't able to talk. She was awake, but she wasn't able to talk or do anything, but I could feel her emotions. And it was just something that was really heartfelt for me. And it was just crazy because she was mad. I can tell she was mad. And then she became sad, and then she became weak. And then that's when it happened. But when we had her funeral, I put that clear quartz in her coffin in her hand, and I put a picture of my son in there. So now it's with her forever.
It almost sounds like you're a little bit empathic, for you to be able to feel what was going on with her.
Yeah, definitely. I've been reading this book, and it's been taking me forever to read. It's about how to deal with being an empath, and how to, it's hard
totally
being an
is.
empath.
Yeah.
It's really hard. You're very emotional. You're super emotional, and it just kind of teaches you how to live with it. And it's so hard to read. I'm like, I feel stupid, but I have to either get the dictionary on my phone or just keep reading it, because the way it's worded. But I am not giving up on that book because it's super interesting.
Oh, you know what? I totally want to read it. You'll have to let me know what it is so that I can look it up and buy it.
Yeah, we can link it below.
Okay, for sure. I actually have it right here. It's Historic Empathy by Raven Digitalis. So I'll definitely give you that information.
Yeah,
you can link it. It's a good book.
I really love how you can utilize crystals in those intimate moments and to help your family. And it's so special that your dad will even accept that. And that's really cool.
That's
You can
great.
share that with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I did my Momo, my other grandma that I had spoke about. She had this big amethyst in her house, like one of those big ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So he grew up with that around, So
Oh, wow. So it's really been a part of your family.
yeah, and it was crazy. I grew up with my Momo. She took care of us a lot, and a lot of the time. So I remember a lot. She was really into angels. She was really into stones. I would see stones. So she was. I feel like she was very spiritual too. So
Nice.
But yeah, we really didn't get a chance to talk and talk about that topic with her before she passed. But yeah, I could just tell.
Very cool. So how do you choose your crystals, and what would you recommend to our listeners?
Okay, so one of my favorite crystals when I first started getting into crystals was a tiger's eye. That one's a pretty much all around crystal that will work. It increases personal power, and if you're depressed, it calms your anger, and it's really good for protection. So that's something if people want to get into crystals, that's one I would definitely recommend. My personal favorite is lapis lazuli. It basically helps you take responsibility for your own actions. It gives you confidence, protection as well, healing. It's really good with healing too, and it helps with your emotions, which I definitely need to work on because I feel like I'm a big empath, so it helps with that definitely. So that's one of my favorites.
Nice.
What else? Amethyst. It's really good at calming, so I would suggest getting that. A very popular one is rose quartz. It's a stone of love. So if you need self love or just anything in that matter, rose quartz would be good.
So, like when you're shopping for them and you're looking at them, is there any kind of a process you have for like getting a feel for them before you pick one?
Definitely. It's all about observing. Everybody observes them, and that's how usually people pick things out in the stores because they look pretty, something like that. So the first thing is to like observe. I like to touch them and feel if there's any, if I have any connection with them too. Like when I picked one of my tiger's eye, I picked this big one because it looked really cool. But when I touched it, I just couldn't, like when I was holding it, I didn't really feel like a bigger connection. There's this little small one with it was like kind of crooked and it had a little indentation in it. And I grabbed that one and I was just like, okay, you're mine. Like you just can kind of tell.
A little weird one.
Yeah, it was a little weird one, but I had that one for the longest time. I ended up giving it to somebody going through a death, so she has it now. But that one, that was my first time that I actually like connected to one, like just right off the bat.
That's pretty cool.
And how do you cleanse your crystals?
Oh, there's many ways you can cleanse your crystals. You can put them outside in the sun. You can put them overnight in the moon. Full moons are great for it. You can put them in any kind of running water, as far as like natural water, like say if you're at the beach or if you're at a river or pond, something like that. You can even do it with sage. You can do it yourself by meditating with it. There's plenty of ways to cleanse your crystals.
So I did do some research on crystals, and I actually found out that for centuries, crystals and other gems have been desired for their magical healing and mystical powers. They were even used by shamans, magicians, and healers, medicine women, and men. There has been a major component of Eastern religions and many, many cultures just using crystals and stones. And crystal properties range really greatly. Some are going to have the ability to protect or enhance your mood, like we were talking about. There's even types of crystals like angelite that'll help you connect with your spirit guides. So there's really a crystal for all of your new age needs. So we really wanted to discuss some of our other favorite types as well. And I know you mentioned it, Vinny, but my favorite absolute type has to be amethyst. So I freaking love the color purple, and that's been my favorite color since I was a kid. And I just feel like purple is so magical. So it's a little basic. Everyone likes amethyst, but damn it, it's my favorite. But I did find out that it's actually really steeped in ancient magic, and it was really popular even thousands of years ago. So they used it in Renaissance magic. They would basically engrave it with an image of a bear, and then they would wear it around as an amulet to be protective. And I thought that was really cool. And then
very cool.
Right? I was like, I want that. In Greco-Roman times, they would even make rings, and they would make them with bronze. They would wear them around as charms, and they thought they would protect against evil. And they even made like these really cool magical cups. So kind of just sound like a cool like amethyst chalice. And they believed that would banish sorrow and evil from anyone who drank out of it.
I want one of those.
Right?
Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and like that's a big thing too for witches, is to have like your goblet for your altar. And I do have a really badass like purple one I bought from like a Ren fair, but I never thought about how cool it would be to have like a pimp cup basically with a bunch of crystals.
Bring it next time.
Right? Yeah. And amethyst is really good to meditate with. It's supposed to be really calming, helps you balance, gives peace, and it eliminates impatience apparently. But I am such an impatient person. I'm surprised that I haven't gotten relief from that. I'm like, I need to have more amethyst. It's supposed to help you think clearly. And whenever you're having like decisions to make, if you kind of meditate with that, it should give you the desires you need, and you'll just know how to make a decision. So it's actually supposed to help you think with more intelligence and less emotions. And I did find out
It's definitely a calming crystal. It's said to reduce OCD as well. So if anxiety, stuff like that, amethyst is a really good piece to have for
That's
sure.
really cool. I didn't know about the
Mhm.
OCD.
And then it's a really good one to have in your home too, because it just brings peace into your home. Like if there's drama or anything going on, it's really good to have one of those in your house.
Yeah. Are there any specific rooms you feel like amethyst would work better in, or does it matter?
To be honest, put it in the living room where
Right.
everybody goes in.
Right.
So,
Mhm. Yeah. I would love to have one of those really big ones. That would be great.
Mhm.
It's a gathering place, so
Yeah, me too. Well, you've seen the one I have. It's at Maria's house. I need it back. I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
you've seen, I really like that one. I've got that at the enrichment center.
Mhm.
But yeah, I want one of those big ones like my mom used to have. I don't even know where that one is. Like,
Right? I wonder who in your family has that, because those big chunks of amethyst are what, like $75-$80?
I know they're
Yeah. Sometimes
expensive.
Mhm.
yeah.
There's
Mhm.
this little shop because I work at a restaurant downtown San Antonio, and I have to walk about a good like 5-10 minutes to get to work downtown. And there's this little shop I pass by, and they have all these huge crystals in there. And I haven't been in there because I'm always late to work, so I can't really.
That sounds really cool.
But I'm like, I really want to go in there. We should
Yeah.
go. We should go one
Is
day.
it just a crystal shop, or they have other things?
No, they have a lot of other stuff, but they have this big heart. It's like in the shape of a heart,
Mhm.
amethyst, and it's huge. And I'm just like, oh, I want you so bad.
Dang, that sounds
It's
cool.
so pretty. But they have like huge crystals in there.
Yes. One of the random facts that I did learn about amethyst was that it actually is an ancient Greek word meaning non-intoxicated, which I thought was really weird. I never would have associated amethyst with that. But apparently back in the day, they would
Mhm.
associate it with basically preventing you from drunkenness and being intoxicated. So that bright, like purple color that it has, I guess you could say, is close to the color of wine. And so it was associated with the god Dionysus. And so he was said to like pour his wine out over a clear crystal one morning, and then that's how amethyst was brought to the world.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so people use it to like promote sobriety. So you can also place amethyst like underneath your pillow, and that's supposed to help you not have nightmares, or if you can't sleep, it should aid in that kind of a thing and give you a restful sleep, and even kind of like heal you or give you prophetic dreams. So I really, really like amethyst. And the main reason I was
Yes.
kind of drawn to it in the beginning was because it's said to be, I guess, connected with your third eye and your intuition, and it can help with your psychic abilities. And so I'm always trying to like give myself powers and be psychic. And I'm like, ooh, help me out. So I really love amethyst.
I love it. Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a good crystal to have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I chose.
Yeah.
Wait, are you
Yeah.
done? Okay. So I chose Moonstone. I didn't go as in depth with my research as you did, but Moonstone is really just this silvery white stone, and it's kind of transparent in a way. And unlike the quartz crystal, when you hold it to the light, you won't get that prism effect. But the Moonstone holds this kind of feminine protective energy, and it can be used to soothe your emotions. So if you're feeling moody during your periods or because of menopause or something like that, it's good to have around because it'll help balance you out.
I need that.
Yes, right. It could also be used as part of helping you balance your life in general. So it can help promote inner peace and ease your fears when it comes to changes in your life. I know I personally love to hold the Moonstone during hypnosis sessions because it helps me feel connected to my life here instead of out in that astral kind of realm. And it just helps me feel grounded and protected against evil. And sometimes just by holding it in my hand, it gives me the strength to stay grounded.
Now I'm jealous of you going to the astral realm. I literally tried to astral project again last night, and I was like, fuck it, just go to sleep.
Pass out.
I was like, I can't.
I tried to too, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. I was like, tonight's the night, spirit guides watch over me. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, never mind. And then I just go to bed. So
I'm like, tonight I'm just going to go to sleep. Shit. I'm astral projecting again. I'm just tired, you guys.
Maria actually had one. She had told me about at her house. And it was pretty crazy to hear her story. I'm trying to remember, but she said it was in her house and she saw other people in her room and she saw herself too. And it was just crazy. I was just like, okay, she's like, try it. Yeah. And she's like, try it. I was like, okay, I'm going to try it tonight. And I ended up falling asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Wendy and Maria are the only two people I've ever known to astral project. And
yeah, I haven't done that yet. And it's hard.
I know, like for you guys, it seems like something you can just kind of like go into, but you like kind of don't want to because you're like, damn it, I'm tired and I just want to sleep and I don't want to see weird shit. And then there's us who are like, we want to see.
I know, right? It's just like, I guess it takes a lot of energy to do that too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I bet it does. So when I'm trying it, I'm just like, oh, I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I end up passing out.
So I know you said that lapis lazuli is your favorite. Like, how did you get connected with that stone to begin with?
It was with that, I think with the spirit science, and honestly, my favorite color is blue. It's a blue stone. So it's like, I was automatically just attracted to it. And then when I started looking it up, it's actually a stone of water. So it's one of your elements.
Right.
For sure. I have some stuff in one of my books I can read out. It says it has timeless associations with kings and queens. It's kind of an expensive stone. It's good for healing, soothing. Simply touching the body with this stone improves your mental, physical, spiritual, psychic, and emotional condition. So just by, reading it up like that and actually meditating with it, it's just helped a lot. And it's definitely good for protection as well and healing. So when something's going on, even with friends or something, like I'll sit down and I'll just sit with my lapis. I have a little it's a little square one, my stone. It's a tumbled stone. If I sit down with that one, and also my pendulum is lapis lazuli.
Oh yeah.
And I'm super connected to that one. That one's like my favorite. We use that a lot in scrying. Yeah, that one's actually my favorite one, to be honest.
Nice.
And that stone I actually had too with my grandma, and I had it in holding her hand as well for a little bit.
Oh,
so awesome. That one's been through a lot of stuff with me too. Yeah, basically, I don't know. That one's just my favorite.
Yeah, there's just not always a way to wrap it up in a bow like you describe it, but I totally understand. That's how I feel about like amethyst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, so we're going to transition into our main topic today, which is shadow people. Have you ever had the experience of being alone in a room, maybe just watching TV, when suddenly, from your peripheral vision, you see what appears to be a shadowy humanoid figure darting off to a corner in the room? While it might be comforting or easy to chalk these experiences up to your imagination, or even your eyes playing tricks on you, you might be dealing with shadow people. And you're not alone. Countless people around the world have reported seeing eerie, similar sightings. And today our guest has had plenty herself. So, Vinny, what is your paranormal history and experience with shadow people?
Okay, so I feel like I'm very experienced with shadow people because when I was younger, I would see them a lot at my parents' house. Both of my parents worked, so when I was in elementary school, I would walk home and I'd be there for an hour every day until my mom got home from work. Honestly, that's the time when I mostly saw them, mostly upstairs. There was like a hallway and 2 bedrooms, and when I'd look up there, every once in a while I'd see like somebody walking back and forth.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, which is it's not like it's just like a silhouette, it's just a shadow, but to be honest, I've never really been scared, and
really,
like unless the energy is bad, unless the energy is negative, I'll get scared. Like one I'm gonna tell you about in a little bit, but when I was younger, I wasn't really too scared of them until one time we had those long blinds on the back door, but they were like metal. They were kind of heavy. And for them to move, you would have it'd have to be something strong to move them, like a person or something. It wouldn't be able to move with wind or the AC or anything. Well, one time I was in the kitchen watching cartoons and I looked behind me and and they were loud too. So they were going off all crazy. And I was just like, okay. But
Yeah, there's no wind or anything there.
yeah, it was closer to the time when my mom got home. So she got home a little bit after that. But that was something that I will always remember growing up with that. One time, me and my dad saw something when my mom was asleep in their room. We saw someone watching over her, and it was a shadow person. And it was weird. Like, we saw it, and my dad saw it. Then I looked and I saw it. Then I looked back at him, and I looked back, and it was gone.
Wow.
It was definitely something there. Yeah.
You had someone else witness it.
Yeah. That's not the first time either that I had me and somebody else witnessed it. That was definitely something. And then I didn't see him for a while until now, to be honest, because I'm getting in, like, I kind of blocked that out of my life because I did start getting a little scared as I was growing up. But now that I'm getting back into myself spiritually, I've been seeing them again, mostly at my jobs. I work downtown by the Alamo, and there's definitely stuff down there. I work at this restaurant called Dick's. It's pretty cool. Basically, we're dicks, so we get to be rude to our customers.
That's great.
It's pretty awesome.
Tourists love it.
But the server's dream. Yeah, server's dream to be able to tell their customers whatever they want. But I was talking to one of my tables, and I was sitting on the table behind me, talking to them, and my back was to the wall, and I feel something grab my elbow, and I basically was just like, yeah, there's a lot of ghosts here. One just grabbed my elbow right now. Just like talking to my customers about it, and they were just like, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go away. That's just like got me a little crazy.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
like all the energy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But the thing is, it wasn't negative or anything. I didn't feel scared, but it was just caught me off guard. Another time when I was there, we have a back stairway that goes to the kitchen, and only employees go up and down. Well, I heard someone say behind you. That's what we say when someone's behind you. So I kind of scooted up, and then like I looked like the other side to see who it was, and nobody was there. And I felt somebody walk behind me and somebody say behind you. And then I looked up, and there was people around too. And one of my friends, I was like, did somebody just walk behind me? Like, did somebody just walk? Cause she was talking to me at the time. And I was like, who walked behind me? And she was like, nobody. And I was like, that's why I moved closer to you, because somebody said behind you and nobody's there. So that was another time.
So was she in earshot of it as well and didn't hear anything?
Yeah, she didn't see or hear anything.
That's so weird. I wonder, like, is that ghost the ghost of an old waiter or server, or was it a ghost just messing with you?
Probably just messing with me. Honestly, with my experiences, they always like just mess with you.
I guess I was kind of curious to know, since you've been seeing since you were younger, do you think these shadow people are different entities, or do you feel like it's the same one following you throughout your life?
I feel like it's different. Like, I don't think it's the same one. I think I would feel if it was if it was somebody there, but because the energies are different, because I can feel, I am very sensitive to energies. So there's just a lot of different energies. Like, actually one time before, like it was years ago, and working at Draft House, and it was crazy because Maria, she worked during the day in the theater I was going to work in at night. And this was before we even got together with witchcraft and stuff. Like, this was when we were just friends working together. And she was like, there's some shit going on in the theater. There's a loud noise behind the projector. And I made Benny, my cousin, go look, and there was nothing there. She's like, something's going on in there, and it's creeping me out. And I was just like, whatever. I was just like, oh, okay. But then I had worked 2 movies in there. And when I was cleaning the theater, I could just feel something super negative just watching me. Like, if they just wanted to hit me, it made me feel very uncomfortable. And I was just like, oh, I feel weird. And it's empty, an empty, dark theater is creepy to begin with. So, but I worked there for so long. It's just like, I got used to it. But that specific time was crazy. And I remember the last showing, the credits went up and my people, I only had like 2 tables. They were towards the bottom. They weren't like towards up in the back. And so the lights are supposed to go up, like go on right after the movie so we can clean the theater. Well, the lights didn't go on. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to go tell the manager. I told the manager to go if she can put the lights back up, but she has to walk upstairs to the projection room and put the lights back up. But I only had 2 tables. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to get my flashlight on my phone and I'm just going to clean the tables real quick. Well, I go in there and it's pitch black dark.
That's so creepy.
And I know, I was so scared because I had already been feeling that negative energy. Yeah. And I go in there and I'm cleaning up. I'm like grabbing the stuff off the tables real quick because it's right there at the bottom. And then I hear a menu drop at the very top. And I'm just like, nope. And I walk out and I'm like, I'm going to wait. I grabbed like some plates and I was just like, I'm just going to wait till they put the lights on. When the lights went on, we have to like sweep them off the theater. Like we have to really deep clean that theater every night. So when I went up there was no menu on the floor.
You're really brave. Like, so for listeners, I worked at the Draft House, but like years before Vinny. So we just kind of missed each other, but Maria worked there throughout. So that's how we ended up kind of meeting. But so there were 2 theaters to me. Like if you're facing the bar when you enter, I feel like it's the ones on the left. I can't remember if it was the middle one or the one to the right of that cluster of 3, but only those 2 theaters really freaked me out. Like you have to walk down a hallway to get to the back to the serving quarters to go grab the food and then come back to get into the theater. But there's just this really large opening of the theater room and it's just like a black cave abyss of darkness. So for you to go in there with your freaking cell phone flashlight is brave because those places are creepy. Like I would get horrible energy.
Yeah, it was in theater 1. It was in theater 1. And that one is, that one, I mean, it is pretty creepy if you look at it, but I wasn't really scared. But that time it was just like, I felt it. And what's crazy is Maria, at all the servers, it was Maria that was there before me, you know?
Right.
And she's intuitive too. And she even tried to warn me and I was just like, whatever. But then like the next day I was like, Maria, I was like, this happened. And it was so creepy.
Yeah. Very crazy that you're always serving around haunted little places.
Right. And I have one more to talk about. It was at the bar I'm actually working at now. It's called the Guillotine Room. It's a huge place. Like you've been there, Sharon. It's huge. It's full of mirrors. It's dark. It does look creepy. It's a metal bar. So that's our theme, like, is to be a little creepy.
It works.
Well, yeah, there's always stuff going on in there. Like they throw shot glasses, tip jars. They've broken stuff. There was one time when it was super dead there. There was nobody there. And I thought I saw somebody walking across the pool table. And I was just like, okay. One specific time I was walking out with my manager. We had all the lights turned off because it was already time to close up. And he was walking me out the door. The ATM machine is next to the door and there's an ATM sign on it. Well, I just see a shadow person on my peripheral and he throws, I'm thinking it's a guy because it looked like pretty big. So he threw the ATM sign across the whole room. It was so creepy and loud.
Oh my gosh.
It was so creepy and loud.
Crazy.
And then I saw it at my peripheral, but I really didn't I didn't want to look. I was scared because the entities at the bar are a little angry. They're really angry. And there's times where I even...
And you said it's near the Alamo? You said that's right near the Alamo?
No, this one isn't near it's not too close, but it's still in the downtown area.
A lot of history down there.
It's not right next.
Like Wild West kind of shit. I wonder what used to go down in that area.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I looked at my manager and I was just like, Gene, did you see that? And he's like, I'm looking at it right now. And he's looking at the shadow person. And I'm like, bye. I'm like, bye. And he's like, you're going to fucking leave me here with this thing. It was so
You just
funny.
walked out for real and left him?
Yeah. he's a grown ass man. He's scary.
Oh my gosh.
He can handle it.
Did he tell you anything else that happened after you left?
No, not that time, but there's times where he stays there a lot during the night. Sometimes he spends the night there, and he's told me some stories there. I've seen stories there. Sometimes I go in the other big silver dollar side. There's another side where they have like Tejano music and stuff on Saturdays, and during the week it's just dark in there. It's like super pitch black and it's full of mirrors, and I have to go over there to get ice and limes and stuff.
Not the
Right?
mirrors.
Yes. I don't look into them, or like when I used to have to be there by myself a lot of the time, and I would have to go and take the bars off the doors in that room, and and there's so many light switches in there that you have to walk in the dark most of the time to put them on and off.
Ugh.
Well, man, you could just feel it in that room. Like, it's just like, oh, I want to get out of there.
So you kind of just feel like you're being watched.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a good one, but lately I've been over there a lot lately, and they've been leaving me alone.
Yeah, I know you've saged the bar.
Yeah, but sometimes I have to do it every day, and my manager hates it. He'll talk shit about it. He'll be like, "Stage is gross," and I don't like it. And he likes the negative ghost. He's like, "Fuck it."
Maybe they feed off of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Have you ever thought of talking to them?
I've always thought about it. I just get a little scared, especially there. I'm thinking maybe when I find, like, if I find something where I'm not so afraid, like their energy is just super overwhelming over there.
Yeah.
So maybe somewhere where it's just like not so, scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Not somewhere. Yeah. Sometimes I'm there and I like when you feel like somebody's trying to hurt you, like I could just feel it. That's when I start getting scared and start blocking it out.
That's probably the best thing to block out that fear emotion, because there's theories that the shadow people crave the chaos and they crave fear, and that that's what they want to create. Mm-hmm. And they're basically like these kind of energy vampires. So I don't know, because you've said before that hasn't been the case. So you've seen a mix of both.
Yeah.
I guess good and bad shadow people.
For sure. Like there's times when I see something like that happens and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I'm not scared. Like that's why when we're going to the manger for your birthday, I'm really curious to see what kind of energies I can feel over there or we can get into.
Yes. And to people who don't know, that is the haunted hotel down in town, close to the Alamo as well. So we'll do an update on that when we get to it, but we're excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what happens with you guys. I'm sorry I can't be there.
I know.
Another time.
Yeah. So I don't know how you feel about like what shadow people could be, but we did look into like some theories, and we want to hear like your opinions on these and see what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I came across these theories because I do have some experiences with shadow people as well. And so when I was thinking about them, sometimes when I think of shadow people, I'm like, okay, is it because this is just what my brain is showing me a shadow person, and my eyes at that moment can't focus to see, because I do see spirits in full form. So maybe at that moment when I'm seeing the shadow person, isn't my brain like, or my energy is trying to see the full person, but I can't actually see them. So I wasn't sure if that was one of the possible causes. Or astral projection. Could it be somebody astral projecting, watching over you?
That's cool.
Or coming to be in contact with you. So a lot of times people will say that they see shadow people when they're in their bedroom alone at night when the lights are out, or, like I know you talked about being alone there. Was that someone astral projecting to you?
Right. I wonder. That's something I never really thought about.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really cool theory.
I thought maybe they could possibly be negative spirits because they are so dark. So I'm glad to hear that you did mention something. You felt that those ones at your current job are really negative. When I think of shadow people, I don't always think that they're people that have passed on. Sometimes I think they might be something like a demon almost, where it's not someone that's been alive in our realm of existence, so to speak. So they haven't been alive before as you and I have been alive, but maybe they were alive in another dimension or something. Because that's what I think of when I think of a demon. They're alive somewhere.
Yeah, could be true.
But they weren't really alive in human form here.
It's crazy.
And then I thought maybe, I read this theory that it could be time travelers. So if you think of somebody time traveling, that person doesn't want to be seen because they don't want to cause some sort of butterfly effect. So possibly they're time traveling and you can see their shadow form, but you can't actually see them because they're just there to observe.
Crazy.
And then one of the other theories would be that it could be an interdimensional being. So not necessarily an alien, but something that was from another parallel universe that kind of blips into our universe. And we only get to see a shadow of that person because they're not fully here. We're just kind of seeing a remnant of them.
I did run into that theory myself online when I was prepping for the episode. I was finding out that that's kind of like a belief of like a Native American belief, that they say that there have been shadow people believed to be parallel dimensional beings who were like recorded about excuse me, who were recorded about by indigenous people back in like 1153 BC. So shadow people go way back, and they really think that they're just coming in and out, and they're coming off to like feed off of your emotions, and they kind of have like tales warning about them.
So maybe that parallel universe or whatever needs our energy in order to sustain their environment.
That sounds like an awesome sci-fi movie.
I know, right? I'm like, ooh, we're gonna make some money now. It's about time.
Yes.
And then some people think that it could be just aliens, that they're shadows themselves coming from another part of our universe, that potentially they're not in corporeal form like we are. They're just shadows.
I've really heard that they could be linked to like maybe alien greys or something.
Oh, like maybe they are cloaking.
Maybe.
Like they have some sort of cloaking ability, and then we can only see.
Yeah, they're like monitoring us, which would be really, really freaky. I don't want shadow people to be aliens.
I know.
I don't know. It's hard for me to get behind the alien thing. It's not that I don't believe. I totally believe in aliens, but I don't see why they'd be watching so many of us, because there are so many people in this world who see shadow people.
Yeah, they seem more paranormal. Like they seem more ghost-like.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, so they could just be like ghosts trapped here who don't really know how to go back. Maybe, or how to move
But there are some people who think that shadow people aren't ghosts at all. I mean, they just think that it could be a negative spirit, or like I said, like a demon of some sort. It could even be just negative energy that's stuck there. But the fact that Vinny had that situation happen where the ATM went flying across, and that goes back to me thinking that maybe our brain couldn't see it as like maybe it didn't have enough energy for you to see it in its full form, human form, and could only project to you this shadow.
Yeah, I mean, it had to have a lot of energy too to just to use to move objects, so maybe it couldn't make itself be fully visual.
It just made me think that if it was a spirit, it was a spirit that hasn't been to the other side yet. Like it's in some sort of limbo that's stuck here. That hasn't gone through some sort of light.
I did see this this. Right? There is this theory that like, so between, it was the 80s and like 2000s, there was this awakening that was happening between people, and there's this more wave of like consciousness and awareness, so that they say in like 2001 this thing called the quickening happened, which makes it feel like time is really speeding up, which I feel like the last couple of years have been a quickening. But this has really caused shadow people to become more visible because their frequencies are raising, and that there's been more and more reports of shadow people. I guess that could also be just because the rise of the internet, so this information is getting more out there. But I kind of thought that was an interesting theory, that maybe the numbers of shadow people have risen.
Absolutely.
I guess that would kind of go in conjunction with you, Vinny. I mean, 80s to now, that's the range of your life of seeing them.
It's just crazy how, I had a good gap where I didn't see any of them, but now that I'm getting more intuitive, I'm starting to see them again. So I'm just like, okay.
Right. It's like the thing with paranormal stuff is the more open you are to it, and the more it's like you see one thing and then it just keeps adding on and adding on. And I'm finding, since we've started this podcast, even like my my experiences have become greater and greater and greater, even though I've been seeing spirits my whole life. Now it's just like, it's just on a different level. I mean, I've been telling Sharon stories about things that have been happening in my life, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, now this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah,
this is
for
happening.
sure.
One kind of leads to the other.
Yeah, every time something happens, I always tell Maria, I'm like, Maria, guess what happened?
Yeah. It's like you just open this door and then the spirits are like, yay, they believe. Now we can show ourselves.
Yeah, we got another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's always that I don't really usually talk about it too much with different people, just because there's always that thought, like, I don't want to sound or look crazy, but this stuff is, I definitely believe in this stuff, and it's real. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah. Well, I want to know, like, have you ever seen shadow people wearing clothes or cloaks? Like, there's that big theory about the hatted man, that people always see one with a hat on.
I've never seen that. Have you seen
No, not personally. It just looks like a silhouette, to be honest, from what I've seen.
Just a man kind of silhouette.
Yeah, like a little silhouette, or like a lot of the times it's in my peripheral, so I don't really get a good look. And once you see him, like, there's a lot of times where you see him and then you don't.
Right. Or it's like a situation where, you know, just like when you're walking into a room where there's a lot of light and you see your own shadow, it's kind of like that same situation. Like, I know last night I saw a shadow in my office, but I was in the living room and I saw just the legs of it walking.
Oh, wow.
Walking across the room. And I was like, there's nobody in the office to project that shadow, but it looked just as if it was somebody's shadow walking across the room.
It's almost like they don't want to be detected. Like, because if you can only see them in your peripheral, they're sneaking about. Like, why don't they want to be seen by humans?
Yeah, I don't know. I do know there was this one time that I saw something that was way different than anything I'd ever seen before. And I was doing this kind of, sometimes with my kids, we do just this whole day of just tarot card reading and divining and doing that. And we were doing that one Saturday, and it was just the three of us at home. And then all of a sudden the temperature in our house dropped, like, I would say a good 10 degrees. It got really cold. All of a sudden, my dog started acting kind of crazy. And then I saw this shadow pop out of the top of the ceiling and start becoming like a solid, almost black shadow figure crawling across the ceiling.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I think we're done for today. This is a little bit more shadow people than I thought that I was going to see. So I think we're done.
That's so horrifying. I mean, like, in that case, it seems like they can come in and out of certain rooms. And then in the case of, like, the guillotine, the metal bar, it's like that's just where they reside. So it's really weird. Like, they live in certain places, it seems like permanently, and then can phase in and out of others.
Can come and go. And I think it depends. I want to know, do they draw on the energy of the place? So, like, Vinny, you were talking about your work, how it's already negative in a way. And your boss said that he likes that negative.
Yeah.
So maybe he's pushing his negativity onto them, and that gives them some sort of power to become more. Hence the reason why he could throw that sign.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I could see that happening. Gene's really cool. That he's a really good guy, but yeah, he's total, like, metal, and he's all hate.
Yeah.
That's his frequency.
Yeah, for sure. So
unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity in the world. I mean, there's so many negative things that happen on a daily basis. It's easy to see that shadow people could be tapping into that negativeness.
I guess shadow people would love it.
Right.
Like,
and it's so huge and creepy in there. It's pretty cool. I like it. I've already been there a year.
All the songs.
Yeah.
Great music.
I feel like if being in that place with the lights off, I would be scared. I don't think I can handle it. Like, even when I'm there, I'm still, like, a little scared to go to the bathroom by myself.
Yeah, sometimes we'll like, when it's towards the end of it, when it's 2:00 and it's time to close, when we still have people in there, Gene will go and turn off the lights in the other rooms, and then they're like, the girls will be like, I have to go to the bathroom, but it's so dark. I'm like, just use the guy's bathroom. I honestly use the guy's bathroom when it's dark up there, because I'm the same way.
Yeah, don't risk it.
I know.
I was also like reading someone's theory on protecting themselves from like shadow people, and they were just mentioning if you feel that they're negative and evil like that, like the best thing you can do is to build up like a white light energy inside of you, you know, that divine energy, and you can just try to like radiate it out into the space around you. And I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like that the supposed theory is like they eat the fear, they love the chaos, they like all that negative stuff, but they're really repelled by the light energy. And it kind of makes it interesting, like, why wouldn't they feed off all of your good energy as well, you know?
Right. That just goes back to that negative spirit or demon-like entity, possibly.
Yeah, I guess maybe with shadow people, there's both, just like with ghosts, there's both. You know?
Yeah, like I said, there's times when I, you know, feel energies and they're not even that bad. They're like happy or like I feed off emotions a lot. So like sometimes like if you I hate seeing, like I felt like a sad energy before and I just wanted to cry for no reason, and I'm like, okay, calm down, you know, like stop being a little bitch. Like it's just something that I'm working on being an empath for sure, because I just feed off emotions and it's crazy. And I feel like that being an empath, like just makes me, I'm a people person for sure. Like I can talk to strangers, different people, and get the sense of how they are just by being an empath. And I feel like that helps me do that as well, because I can read people's energies and emotions. So that's a good thing about, you know, being an empath. But then there's a lot of bad things about it too. So I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty incredible that as an empath, you're still working in a service industry where you're dealing with all these different types of people coming up to a bar or like serving them at tables. Like a lot of empaths are like, nope, I'm going to stay away from people as much as possible. So
it's really hard.
We need this introvert job.
I kind of use it to my advantage.
Good for you.
Definitely. So when I feel somebody's energy, and if they're upset or somebody's upset, I automatically, I'll just leave them alone. You could tell when somebody wants to be left alone. They don't even have to say anything, you know, you could just feel it. Or if somebody's like, if like, especially with my job now, because we get people in that don't know with my Dick's job, is that they don't know about us and they don't like being rude to. So like, there's times I'm like, if you want, like, I'll be nice to you and you could just watch me be mean to my other tables. Like,
That's funny.
to be honest, I'm a really nice person, and being mean, it just takes a lot of energy out of me. So I'll be nice.
I imagine there's just people who don't have any clue.
Yes.
Like, oh, here's a close place on the Riverwalk of San Antonio.
I've actually had people get very angry at me for me telling them something because they didn't know. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this other day, this guy was putting his feet on the table. And I was like, so you think you're at home where you could just put your feet on the furniture? And he got so upset with me. It was hilarious. It was so funny.
I mean, even if you did work at Dick's, I feel like that's appropriate.
Right?
Get your feet off the table, sir.
Don't do that at a bar, restaurant. Come on, common sense.
Yeah. But he got so livid. It was so funny. Like, I was just like, okay. I was like, I apologize. Like, but this is like how we do it here. He did not let me talk. It was so funny. He ended up leaving and flicking me off, and I flicked him off back, and he was all he was appalled that I did that, and I was just like.
Good for you. I love that, because like he's probably not used to a woman like standing up to him and telling him something, especially a server. He probably just thinks you're there to serve his needs, and then there you go, being like a strong badass.
It was funny, but I did apologize to him. I was like, this is just how we work, but he was just so mad. I couldn't help but laugh. It was funny.
There you are, feeding off the chaos, just like those shadow creatures, shadow people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Vinne, for joining us today on the Coven. We loved having you.
Thank you.
Oh, it was good being here. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Of course.
And thanks to our listeners for joining us today. Make sure to stop by next Wednesday for our investigation on Bessie and the Loch Ness Monster. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can check out our blog at cousinscoven.home.blog. We're also on Podomatic, Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else podcasts can be found. And send in your cauldron topic ideas, or if you have questions or your own paranormal experiences, into cousinscoven2@gmail.com.
May you find happiness in your heart, love for yourself, and joy in each other. Blessings to all.